I'll use my name, Chris Dinan. Actually, I was born and raised, same place, Philadelphia, same house I grew up in. So I'm living there now. I live above the funeral home. I'm fourth generation in the house, in the business too. Yeah, yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, when it all started, when we started getting cases and that people had died, we didn't know that it was COVID because it was originally being reported as pneumonia deaths. So we didn't know to take any different, from what we would normally do. So now when it came out, what was happening and it all changed. I had to buy supplies. Everybody had to be put into 3 body bags and disinfected, and then that even changed. So it was just for your own protection. So, we were handling these cases even before we knew, so, who knows? Maybe I had a mild case of it back in the early part of the year, who knows? But yeah, now it's a shortage of everything. Supplies. We can't get, it's really hard to get, like body bags, gloves, disinfectant. I haven't seen Lysol since it all started. We'll get on the list now, and 3 months later, we're lucky to get 10% of what we ordered. When people come in for a funeral, for funerals, you're only allowed to have 10 together at a time. And at the first Mass that we had at the Catholic Church, the priest let us sit in the back of the church, counted us, and then he locked the doors so nobody else could come in, because he was so afraid of getting in trouble for having more than 10. So, but that's changed a little bit. Now we're allowed to have 25 in the funeral home at the same time. But churches are half capacity, so a lot of the times we'd use the cathedral because it seats so many. It's a 2,500 seat church, so a couple hundred people is nothing. And they've let us use the church for Catholic funerals because of how big it is. Some people are very afraid of it because some people have underlying conditions, and sometimes a lot of people don't even come in for a funeral because they don't want to have contact, just in case. Because we have to we're constantly running the air conditioning. The air conditioning runs constantly to, keep the air moving. And then, the doors are opened. I don't know what's going to happen come wintertime, but it's still pretty much only allowed 25. I told my family, I said I feel like a bouncer, holding people back until people come out of the room. We've had lines around the block, but that hasn't happened since this started. Yeah, you almost have to make an appointment to come in, which is, yeah, I never thought you'd hear that, making an appointment to come in for a viewing. Well, when hospitals have all these deaths, it's they only have a limited capacity to how many bodies they can keep in the morgue. Montgomery County Coroner has 2 locations where they have trailers just for the COVID cases, and I was in one April or May, I think it was, to pick up a little baby that had passed. So, it was just like, you're in a room with everybody that had died of COVID, so it's, a little unsettling. Well, one family insisted that they were going to have a viewing. They were Jewish, and they didn't want to embalm the body. And I said, you can't view the body without embalming because she had died from it. So they were upset, and they did understand eventually. I mean, legally, I couldn't have done it because it was putting everyone at risk. So she ended up, they ended up having a cremation for her. But they had different things that they wanted me to do. Like they had different items that they wanted me to put in the cremation casket that they were going to do. And I was able to take pictures. But they were upset that they weren't able to physically do it. Motivated me was just the fact that, the helping other people that are, going through it. And then, you can still have a viewing for somebody that has died of COVID. It's just that, the people that are working, the embalmers are afraid to handle the body. But once the body's been embalmed, it's no problem. And a lot of people don't, people don't want to go near the body, professionals. So I was like, well, we went through this, my grandfather went through this 100 years ago. But you have to help people because, a lot of the times they're dealing with a lot of grief because, they weren't able to see the loved one. If we embalm the body, they could see them. A lot of people, would do the cremation and then they wouldn't have to embalm the body. And then they can view it, we can bring it in within 24 hours and, they can view the body without embalming because that was legal. Not anymore because of the, if they die of COVID, they can't. So we've been doing, a lot of the time we haven't been charging for it. We embalm the body. That way they can get some closure. We set them up. It's a rental casket, but we put them in the viewing parlor and they come in for, half an hour. We don't chase them out, and that way they can get their some time with them, and it's safe that way too. Well, with this, you never know. If you catch it, are you going to survive it? So, you get a little closer with the family. I had to move my daughter. She's going to Boulder University, so I had to fly her out, and I was like, am I going to catch this on the plane? Am I going to? So, I mean, we had some things. We actually, before we did it, we had a will put in place. So, in case, God forbid, if my wife and I caught this and we didn't survive it, what would we do? We have 3 children, so, which made me feel better. We have everything in place. Made us rethink everything. But I think being in this business helps that too. Having plans in place for the inevitable. It'd be nice. And I think a lot of people are doing it already. Settling old grievances, and so if the time comes, they're prepared for it emotionally, because at least they tried. Because my own family, my brother and I didn't talk for 5 or 6 years. So, we text each other now, phone call every once in a while. So, we changed our outlook on things. We talk more, we text, and, my parents, we got to watch out. My parents are getting older now, so, we got to watch out for them, shop for them. I mean, when this all started, we used to food shop for them and everything. So, you just do things for your family. I used to, there's nothing to do, so you see what's on the television, but, now it's like, see if your parents need anything, see if your brothers or sisters need anything. Instead of just sitting there watching the television show, you can be helping, doing something. You don't know when, if you're going to catch it, if you're going to survive it.